Welcome to UbuntuVideoCast. In this session, I will introduce you guys to Virtualbox. Virtualbox is a very nice virtualization solution you can use on any kind of desktop. If you go to www.virtualbox.org and then go to the wiki and downloads, you will see which operating system as a host is supported on VirtualBox. You can see here for Windows, for OS X, Linux, Solaris, and there are even development kits available. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to install it on your Ubuntu system. So click on Linux hosts, and you can see here all different versions available for Ubuntu, Debian, OpenSUSE, Fedora, Mandriva, and Red Hat, Turbo Linux, and for all the other distributions there's a common installation file available. And if you go down here, they basically show you how to install it on your distribution. And you can do it that way, or you just basically download your installation file like I do it here on Ubuntu 10.04. Just click on the deb file for the i386, then click on save, and you'll see it's about 47.2 megabytes, which should take less than a minute to download that on my internet connection. And when this is done, I'll show you how to start and do some basic configuration, and we will create also a virtual machine. So the installation is almost done. Then we will have the installation file available, and to execute this, just click on here, and then you should see the gdab installer will start up. Click on install, enter your password, and the installation will start. In a few more moments. Okay, installation is done. Close that window, close that window, and then you go over to your menu bar, click on applications, and then on system tools, and then you have the Oracle Virtual Machine or VM VirtualBox. Start that one, and then it comes up with a license agreement. You gotta scroll down and say you agree, and then the VirtualBox Manager starts. So let's go through those menus here. So under File, you have the Virtual Media Manager. Then you can import appliances, export them. You have Preferences here. We can set up where the hard disk, where virtual hard disk will be located, where where you want to locate the folder for the virtual machines. Then you can define the key to input or focus input. Then you can set up how often VirtualBox will check for update. If you're fine with the defaults, just leave them. Then you can set up the language, and you can make some network configurations here. And click on edit host, and then you can set up an internal network address, DHCP server, and so on. So, but by default, all the defaults are fine. So get out of here, go in here. So with that, we can create a new virtual machine. You can also click on that blue button right here. So click on that one, and then the wizard starts for creating a new virtual machine. Go next, enter a name for this virtual machine. So I'm entering Ubuntu. I'm going to show you guys how to install that Ubuntu 10.04. Well, at least I could start with that. Then you can select here operating system type, like if you want to do Windows, Linux, Linux, BSD, OS2, Mac OS. And so far I know this is the only one that will support natively OS X as a virtual machine. So we keep Linux here, and then you can um, select what kind of Linux distribution you want to install. You can just go with the standard Ubuntu. Then you go next. Then you can basically set up the RAM you want to make available for that virtual machine. 512. If you set up a server, it's fine. Then go next. For desktop, I would use a little bit more, like at least a gig. Then you can set up the hard disk. By default, it's recommended to use 8192 megabyte, which is about 8 gig. Then you can create a new hard disk, or you can select here if you already have a hard disk image, a BDI, available. You can select it from here and make use of that. Go next, and then go next here, and then you can specify here what kind of virtual disk or hard drive you want to use. I recommend use the dynamical expanding storage. That means if you create a VM, it uses only as much space on your physical hard drive as it's being used on the virtual. So if you install the operating system and you maybe use just 800 meg, 900 meg, something like that, then the VDI is only 8 or 900 meg big. If you say fixed storage, which increases a little bit more performance, or gives you more performance, but if you set up a 20 gig hard disk, then it will use 20 gig.